Hello, my name is Joey Huther, and I chose the topic of what makes a good leader in management. Because one day I hope to pursue a career in this field and hopefully be a good leader in management. A manager is a person who is accountable for managing the company. A leader isn't necessarily always going to be a leader, but a manager should always be a good leader. A good manager can really make a difference in how successful an organization can be. Mark Graven states in one of his articles, "A bad manager makes you work, a good manager lets you work." With my experience as a good and bad leader, I used to be in the military. Just got out about 2 years ago and did 8 years. So I've encountered a lot of good leaders and some bad leaders as well. To me, a good leader is somebody that, as far as a military standpoint goes, is a good leader is when you are kind of uplifting everybody. There's no like bad attitudes. Somebody that you can go to without really feeling any certain type of way. Um, Someone that you know is going to help you and guide you and um, kind of figure everything out and solve your problems if there is any. Um, so with my experience, a bad leader is to me somebody that is, as far as military again, is that somebody who's always yelling at you, um, is not really putting any effort to solve the problems. Also, somebody that is not doing anything with you, just kind of, hey, go do this, go do that. I mean, yeah, that is kind of what a manager does, but also kind of do it in a regular way to where keep that to keep that connection still with the employee and the manager relationship. Um, to me, a good leader is basically the opposite of that. Somebody that wants to do things with you, also kind of telling you, like, not really in so like a really nice and polite way, but kind of like being in an approachable way, to where you know that manager is not instilling fear in you, or that supervisor, just somebody that can be approachable. Um, Honestly, at my last job, I had a manager like that who was a bad leader to me. Um, Nothing really with me personally, but I just have heard a lot of talk about how um, they were not doing anything to solve the problems, to the point where we had an altercation between two females, to where things were thrown at each other. They end up going into the office to kind of talk about it. Within a couple minutes, um, there was a lot of like laughing and whatever, to where one of the females who had the stuff thrown at her in the first place just walked out of the building. She came back like an hour later, just crying and everything. Um, she goes back in. There wasn't much laughing or anything like that, but she ended up getting an office, like a desk ornament, and a gift card. And after that, just kind of, that was after like just a couple people from before that have had problems and end up just getting gift cards or just little just gifts in general. Apparently, that's just supposed to make the problem better. Yeah, it makes it better in the moment, but then again, it doesn't make it better in the long run. And so, sometimes after like a day or two, it's fine, but then even so, like a week later, it's just right back um, to the normal negative energy, to where you just aren't really sure what to do, because it's like, okay, the lady can throw something at me, and all that's going to happen is that I'm going to get a gift. So I'm not really sure what discipline you could do, um, but um, definitely not giving gift cards. So honestly, I left that career path and I'm on to another career path right now that I just started about a couple weeks ago. And so far it's a whole different ballgame over there. A lot better managers. I haven't really experienced any managers that deal with problems, but like I said, it's a lot better environment. Um, at the last job I had, I feel like you can be approachable, but also be a bad leader as far as problems go. So, um, a good manager follows three shifts of management. The first one is leadership. Leadership involves creating decisions such as which projects to choose. The second one is mentorship. Mentorship is an efficient way to grow a team in ways that are mutually beneficial. And ambassadorship. Ambassadorship means representing the team within the broader socio-political context of your organization. One question is, what are some qualities that make a good manager and leader? They can communicate employee appreciation. There are many ways a manager can show appreciation other than just a thank you. Just something as simple as bringing in donuts or pizza party to kind of boost up that morale, like the whole team is doing a good job, making them want them to be there, because everybody has to go to work, but nobody should want to go to work, or nobody should have to go to work and feel, you know, that negative energy. The morale should always be a maybe do something like a competition, like a team award, to kind of like compete within the job. Give extra time off or a raise if possible for good hard work. Gallup research shows employee engagement can double when engagement talent improves. So with that being said, the whole things that I had mentioned before, um, if you have uh, good employee engagement with the managers, then everything is kind of uplifting and makes the employees want to work harder and actually want to be there. A good manager will set your team up for success. Some things you or they could do is be willing to solve the problem, make sure the team has a sense of why they exist, be the voice of truth within your team, and know the behaviors that are important for success. A lot of times the employees do not leave the jobs itself, they want to leave the board management. For example, that's what I mentioned before about kind of leaving poor management. Like I said, nothing to do with me personally, but kind of what was going on around me. So I knew that if they didn't treat the people around me and solve their problems, I knew they were not going to solve mine or if I ever had any. That's why it is so important when you are in the management roles. You show the core values of a leader to create the best version of what your team can be. Thank you for listening, and I hope with this information that I have given you, and not only that I've learned for myself, there's always ways to improve things. Not everybody is the perfect leader. Nobody's ever perfect. So I feel like, with this information, I can take into the business world and be a good manager or leader, and also comes with experience as well. So just like I mentioned earlier in the video, with good experiences or good leaders and bad leaders, you just kind of take with what kind of leader you want to be with the experience you go through. All right, thank you for listening.